What's good, YouTube lad? Oh, I just realized I don't have today's review subject near me. Oh, wait. I can just summon it. Ah, here it is. That was fast. Must have shipped by Amazon. So this... if it wasn't obvious, is the... what's its name? Kogoken Saikou. Kamen Rider Saikou Kanzen Narakiri set, featuring his sword, his main Wonder Ride book, and his other Wonder Ride book. There's a picture of a ex-Swordaman right there. There's a picture of some things it can do. There's some more things it can do. There are quite a few things it can do. And on the back there's a goddamn rainbow, which is the whole theme of this set, of just things it can do. Santa Pac-Man. Right there. And alright. So let's get this big box open. Zing. In here, we will talk about this in a bit. But what we want is the rest of the box. So move that flap. And we have everything right here. We have the sword, ride book, belt straps I'm not going to use ever, the main buckle, the thing they put for every belt, which just goes on your back, or if you're me, you just never use it. So. If this looks familiar, you're not having deja vu. Well, you technically are, sort of, because it's a repaint or lack of repaint of the one that comes with the Ankoken Kurayami, which actually makes a lot of sense because the Sword of Darkness and the Sword of Light are intrinsically connected in the lore. So there you go. Just give you a good shot. I don't know. I prefer this one because it has the touches of purple and silver. This one, still, I understand. It's a bit plain. So can't fit the belt around me. So what I'm actually going to do is the same thing I did for the spark lens. Is we're going to lower the camera a bit. And if you've got a belt that's thin enough and small enough, I'm going to wear it like an actual belt buckle. Because that's essentially what it is. A belt buckle. Or if you want to call it, I guess, friggin' fanny pack. Come on, where's the... Find that hole. You can make your own jokes with that. There we go. Can you see it? There. There you go. I have to lean back just so it can all be in frame. But here is the sword. Kogoken Saikou. Yes, I just said that. So this is the Sword of Light. The Sword of... Leave that there. The Sword of Kamen Rider Saikou. aka Kamen Rider the best, the best, the best, and so on. You know, obviously somebody's going to complain about just how. Obviously somebody's going to be a man baby about the size of their sword. Because this this is not really. I don't think this would classify as a sword. It's a knife with a gigantic hilt. So here's blade to blade. Yeah. Suzune, which has a similar, actually fairly similar length blade, but is quite a bit thicker, obviously. Suiseki Nagare. There's your comparisons, but I do like this sword. The handguard feels good. It's a tiny bit small, but it pretty much is fine. And I will show that off later, but this is actually designed to fit right on my dick. And not shut up. So, this is the main Wonder Ride book. Gin no Buki. Gin no Buki. Gin no Buki being book of gold, book of silver. At least I believe. Oh, and also, we have to talk about the lore of this sword a bit. Because Yuri, the wielder of it, basically was one of my favorite characters in Saber. Because he was doing the whole fish out of water, you know, been sealed away for 1,000 years, not familiar with the modern world kind of shtick. But he's also just really funny in saying that, like, lines that shouldn't be funny, but saying them with such a straight face that they unintentionally become funny. And basically, the story with this is 1,000 years prior to the events of Saber, Yuri was betrayed by both of his swordsman friends and initially had control of both the Sword of Light and Darkness. But deciding the best idea was to not let the swords ever be controlled by one person, Yuri merged himself with the sword, thus essentially becoming the sword. So I think I may have found something weirder than the eyeballs with the souls of dead historical figures. But you feel free to let me know in the comments whether a person becoming a sword is actually weirder or not. And then he sealed himself away, protecting the power of King Arthur for 1,000 years until he was brought back by Kamiyama Toma, Kamen Rider Saber. But yeah, he's one of my favorite characters. Yeah. Yep. And will this actually stay as because I lean? No, I put too much weight on it. All right. And I really like his Wonder Ride book because it's a very unusual shape for the generally standard small Wonder Ride books. a bit elongated, a bit, it's translucent, which is cool. It's glittery. And this may be the only Wonder Ride book to actually have lights. Have a freaking LED. That's because the LEDs aren't in here. They're in here. We'll get to that in a second. But we also have a few sound effects we can get by just pressing the button. We actually have phrases from Yuri himself. That sentence being, I am the sword is me. I'm trying to... Something is starting... I have to hear it again. And then something about light. I can't remember the full phrase. This is the best. The best. I'm gonna do that joke a lot. So then we have phrases if you open it. And not only is the sword the best, but it's also combining the colors of gold and silver, if that wasn't completely obvious. So it's so many mashups. Which basically says gold, silver. Because basically if you add the letters ka to a sentence, it changes a sentence into a question. So gold. So it's like gold. Gold. Using this as an example. I love that sentence. It's so stupid. To become the shiniest one. Because of the idea of gold and silver being one. And then... two powers become the ultimate light. Essentially. So those are the phrases just by itself. But we got more phrases. Because we have to put it in the sword. So. Let's do this. Let's do this properly. Wait. Hejin! Saikou! So yes, yeah. You know, if I were doing this video accurately, my body would disappear, and you would just hear my voice talking out of the sword. But I'm not skilled enough to actually do that. So you just have to live with me. So yes, I like this design. It's like, I didn't realize until actually specifically looking at the toy that it's actually a full body there, sort of. Like his head is right there. And that's actually, you can see the gold arm with the hand molded into the sword. And the silver arm actually painted to resemble silver arm. And then I guess the body is sort of a unileg. But now the sword slash doesn't change. But we actually have more sound effects from the ride book itself. They programmed this thing with a lot of sound effects. Both of his Wonder Ride books have a lot of sound effects. So that is a good luck. That is a finisher. And then we have, the Saikou Isho, which was a Saikou Chapter 1. Now we can move on to Chapter 2. Yeah, because Yuri's physical body is the actual sword, and he when he transforms, he loses his I don't want to say corporeal form. He has sort of a body that doesn't take damage. Like it's like, I guess you could say similar to Raiden from Mortal Kombat, where like he has a ethereal form that the sword materializes, just because they obviously had to play that to have somebody playing a character, because you can't have just the sword as the character the whole time. But because of that, he needs to create somebody to actually hold the sword. So since light makes shadows, they basically put CGI over a body and called it a shadow, and had it ability to stretch and do all kinds of weird shadow things and not get hit. So yeah, that sound was summoning, "Who is this?" I love how brazen that is. And then we have even more sound effects. I am the best. Something about the darkness. I think it's like, "You are also the best," or something. With this light, I will cut the darkness, I guess. Hikari! Oh. Wait. Hikari! Let there be light! And then it goes back around. The one thing I absolutely love about this Wonder Ride book, you can press the button in the middle of a sound and it will shut off. I love that. I wish every single Wonder Ride book had that, because it just makes it such an easy feature, you know? Just. Although these sound effects, apparently it doesn't cut off the voice clips. Kage o kiru. I just love that you can shut it off. It's just a nice feature. So, we do have, that would be it if you just bought this. So that might be worthwhile, but let's get a little bit more value for money with this. His power-up item. So I do need to explain this a little bit as well. This is the Ex-Swordman Wonder Ride book. So basically, a sword not only has the book that the person uses to transform, but it also has a book made about the story of the sword, essentially. So Yuri, wanting to reclaim his humanity a little bit, return to being a swordsman, to fight better, so to speak, he went back to his friend who lives in Wonderworld, which is like the world, like the opposite world that they're trying to merge with Earth in the story. Who's Tasso, who's basically the narrator of the show. Like, he shows up before the show starts and when it ends. He's basically the all-seeing narrator, who also happens to can carry all the books of the stories of the swords. So Yuri returns to him because they're apparently good friends. 1,000 years ago. And he requests his book back, which gives us a little funny scene of Tasta trying to find it and then finding it in his hat for some reason. And then I love that the part where Yuri was inspired by a comic book. Like, the first time he read the comic book, he's like, "No, I don't really like this. I don't really get it." And like, the more he read, he went, "Oh, this, all right, this is interesting." And then by the final time, he's like, "All right, I'm gonna use that I'm gonna base my new power off of that," which is where we get this really gaudy, ridiculously bright Wonder Ride book, Ex-Swordman. You can see the swordman whose armory he borrows and changes the look of it slightly on the cover. And this really Yeah, I say gaudy. The friggin' bright, blinding neon green and orange certainly are an interesting choice. And then if you open it, you get extra Sortaman. You can press, we can scan. Actually, I forgot to do that. Before we move on, there's this button right here if you want to remove like that. And to be honest, you don't get anything in any other driver. Although I do really like the standby music. And then you get the regular transformation, and then you can't even get a final attack. It'll just repeat the transformation. Wait, I believe. No. So we can scan with the Sword of Darkness. Also, can you make out the language there? Is it? Can you see it? Can translate? Probably not, but yeah. Giant Story. And if we get this one, something about a story. I'm guessing the similar thing, Giant Story. Because Monogatari is story. You know what? While we're looking at X, let's scan it as well. You get the legendary. Then Setsu no Shinju. I'll bring in Suzune. I don't believe this will fit, but yeah, it's too small. Plus, it's too heavy. If I do, this one doesn't fit. And if I scan X, giant monster for some reason. But all right, let's hear sounds from the actual X Sword book. If you press the button right here, and then open it, we have we have 3 sound effects. So there we go. I'm just gonna transform properly. Yeah, you can actually just stick it straight in there, and it will activate the spring, the spring. But there's fun in transforming. Henshin! I didn't do it properly. The book didn't activate. It actually popped out. So, let me do that again. Henshin! Ba 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 ba! Okay, that is one of my favorite standby. Colors, colors, colors. That is the second I saw that on screen, I'm like, oh god, I have to have that. And also, you can see another page is folded down, and the sounds don't change. Well, I'm doing it again. I also just love that transformation. I was like, get all colors. Full color de Sanjo. Ba 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 bang. I love that. Alright. So, what else do we have? Well, we have two other forms we can go into. So by pressing it again, we basically flip a page in a comic book. Oh my god. I love that song. Full color goes to arm. Because in a very Den-O move, basically all the armor turns into a second sword, a arm-mounted like Baraka blade. Even his face, which his face is now like sitting right there on his arm, and he's talking with his arm, as it's also a sword. But that song is awesome. And then we have the other form. If full color goes to arm wasn't enough, for level 3, for chapter 3, the full color goes to leg, and the colorful kid. It's so funny to me. Oh god. Yeah, and now all the armor went to his foot, so he's talking with his foot, which is even more like Den-O, because Den-O's armor... Well, Den-O's armor... did it go to his arm? I know it went to his leg for his final attack. It might have gone to his arm, I think, for climax form. But, yeah. So that's it for the forms, because once you close it, it doesn't reset. It goes to the next section of sounds, which are the finisher sounds. So to do it properly, we gotta... Come on! Hold on. I'm sick of you. Well, I'm not sick of you. It's drowning out this, I think. Saikou, colorful. And then, come on. It's not... Get off! Like, come on. It's... Why? Why is... There! Jeez! Got the frickin'... I just want to give you a close-up shot of each panel. Each comic book style panel. And there you go. I think the problem is it's pushing, you know. If it were in front of my gut, I probably wouldn't be having this issue, but then again, I can't really wear it like that because of, you know, obvious reasons. But I absolutely love this set. Now, you can't really put this Wonder Ride book anywhere else. So it's kind of, the set is only really good for, like, in itself. Like, there's no sort of mix and match options. You can, technically, put a different Wonder Ride book up here. So if I do just Brave Dragon, nothing happens. It springs, but nothing actually happens. So. Yeah. I believe that's everything. But these two are probably my... These are probably my favorite Wonder Ride books. Like, the makers like this design so much, they actually repainted this twice. 3 times. Because it was repainted into the omnibus for Kamen Rider Solomon, and then it was repainted into the Grimoire for Kamen Rider Storius, and then it's being repainted into a new form for Ikazuchi. So, like, they really like the one, like, the page opening, like, the multiple pages of this book. So. I can see why. The colors are hilarious. First off, which I love it for that, and I just love all the transformation sounds. Full color goes to leg. Like I've watched those transformation videos from the show multiple times, just because it's funny, it's hilarious. It's a good kind of funny, you know. Funny how, you know what I mean, right? Like I love those transformation jingles. They're probably the silliest ones I can think of, but in all the right reason, in all the right ways. Love how brazen his full color goes to arm. Like that's so stupid, yet it works. I also just really like the shape of this one, so I highly recommend this set. You get 2 swords. Actually, you get 1 sword that is 2 swords. And as long as you're fine with a small blade, I'm sure the people making blade extensions for the Saber series, because they've done Gekido, which I have, Suzune, which I don't have yet. I haven't bought it. They're doing one for Hayate, which might actually make me want to get that sword. Before, I didn't think there was ever a way I was actually going to get like that sword. And I hope they do this sword, even though the hinge on it might make it a bit difficult. I really want to see if they can come up with a bigger blade for this. And like Bandai themselves are doing ceremonial versions, or a ceremonial version of the Seiken, like a full-size sword with the electronics in it. Obviously not with a sharpened blade, thankfully, but I might actually pick that up just because I want a full-sized one, you know. But I think this set is weird enough and interesting enough to actually be worth it. In my opinion, if you're only going for 1 sword out of Saber, you might want to pick up this one if you like the sound effects enough. Oh yeah, I didn't even mention it also has a button on the bottom, which is what I've been doing to press the button, and also has the same sound effect, just like that button. So overall, would I rate the set? I would rate it the best, the best, the best. Until next time, keep it weird. Bye.